Thanks for joining us for our very first episode of our brand new podcast, Talking TLA. I'm Landings Association General Manager Karl Stephens, and joining me is Finance Director Jessica Henderson. So thanks for being our first podcast guest.
First podcast ever. Yes.
Glad to be here.
Yes.
Well, the one thing we wanted to talk about in this is the annual dues vote that's starting up. This is the vote where every 3 years the property owners get a chance to vote for what the annual dues need to be over the next 3 years, what's required. And it really starts off with the budget book, probably your favorite document we have here. Tell me a little bit about it.
This is the combination and compilation of a lot of months of hard work. It's 301 pages. We have shaved that down about 12 pages from the previous year. So we work on this from June till December, and it really combines the work plans for each department and what is going behind the numbers that we get the final budget approved for in December.
So maybe we'll get under 300 pages next year.
Maybe we will.
we tried to put everything in there that people want to see. So hopefully you can find some good information in there. And one thing, we work with finance committee liaisons. They help vet all the different departments and lead us through that.
They do. Yeah, we have 2 members of the Finance Committee that we appoint to each one of the departments, and they work closely with those departments and ask questions about the numbers, ask questions about what their plans are for the next year. That really comes full circle for the operating and capital reserve budgets.
And then that leads us into the annual dues vote that we have coming on now. One thing we achieved with our last vote was to get at least 30% funded in our reserves. Without getting into the formula, it just means we're not going to run out of money, but it's kind of on the low end of where it is.
It is. Adequate level reserves funded is calculated at 30 to 70% funded. As Karl mentioned, we achieved that. That has been a process of work and commitment by staff and owners to get to that 30% funded for 18 years. So as Karl has mentioned, we don't want to let off the gas, and with inflationary practices or inflationary increases that we've seen, it's important to look ahead and the things that we see coming in the future and plan for those accordingly. One
good thing is we have really grown our non-annual dues revenue over time. I was looking through some past voting packets and budgets and all, and we used to have about 2/3 of our operating budget came from annual dues. Now it's down to 55% projected. What that means is we've worked really hard to grow non-annual dues revenues, like our commercial entries, our landscape people coming in to work with you. So marinas revenues, we've been growing and have a waiting list. So that's really helped out a lot. But we've been talking so much about this vote and what it means for us. I had a dream about this a couple nights ago. So I know, a little sickness there. But somebody said, well, I'm just going to vote no. Why shouldn't I just vote no about it? And I said, well, do you want to have crumbling roads that you drive on, or storm drains that collapse, or do you walk or bike or ride on the path? So that's really what this vote is about, is maintaining those assets.
This vote is about maintaining what we currently have, not adding any additional services, not adding any additional staff. In fact, it's the opposite. We've reduced 1 full-time staff employee. So this is just maintaining all of the things that make this community beautiful, safe, and attractive for people to live here.
So you can get a lot more information at landings.org/annual-dues. When you get your voting packet, please go ahead and vote. We need at least 60% of all owners to vote to have a valid vote. So we want you to vote yes, of course, but we especially want you to vote. So as soon as you get that off your plate, move on to your rest of your activities. And thanks for being our first podcast guest.
Thank you.